Welcome to Beats and Eats. I'm Chef Net, your wellness musician. Today we are making a slow cooker sweet potato black bean chili. Doesn't that sound so delicious and hearty and warm? Our ingredients for this chili are sweet potatoes, black beans, stewed tomatoes, zucchini, yellow squash, green bell peppers, red onion, vegetable broth, garlic cloves, oregano, fresh basil, bay leaves, salt, black pepper, and we've got some sweetener just to add to it to bring that acidity down. You ready to cook? So today you don't see my cooktop up here. We're just using my crock pot here. And one thing I love about chilies and stews is that you can make them in batches and they'll last a really long time, as far as like if you're trying to meal prep or if you want to just have something for the family for a couple days that everybody can eat on. Perfect for it. So you can see I have all my ingredients here, fresh ingredients. Another reason why it's a great incentive to make this chili is because the ingredients are all here. We got our squash, our zucchini that we're gonna cut, a bell pepper, our red onion, our bay leaves here, and they smell wonderful. And we got our garlic because, you know, I love garlic. Our red onion and our seasoned out herbs over here. Our black beans for that gut health, and our stewed tomatoes, which is the base of our meal, along with these sweet potatoes and our vegetable broth. And of course, you see I have my basil plant here, and it's just I'm gonna add this at the end, close to it being done, because I want all my flavors from the basil to still be bold and bright and present and not cook out in the time that it's going to take to slow cook this chili. So I have 2 sweet potatoes here. I figure I just come on and not have all my ingredients already chopped. Since it's really nothing, there's no cooking involved, I'm just going to toss it in a crock pot. So I usually chop my sweet potatoes into chunks. And if you have mandolin or whatever you cut on, by all means grab that to make it more quick and to make it efficient in cooking your chili. So I have my sweet potatoes all chunky and cut here. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab a handful and just drop these things right in. And I want my sweet potatoes at the bottom. And of course, I'm gonna stir it as it cooks. Since the sweet potatoes are the most firm and the most fibrous, I want those sitting at the bottom so they can get, close contact with that heat. Even though the entire element is cooking, I just want those sweet potatoes to sit at the bottom, just catch everything that's coming down. And so next thing, I have my stewed tomatoes, and these are canned. This is like 15 ounces out of a can. You could always stew your own tomatoes and just stew them, put some olive oil on them, some whatever your oregano or your fresh or dried seasoning, pop it in the oven, stew them up, take them out, blend them or chop them, and then you got your stewed tomatoes. But in this case, this is canned. Just gonna add that in there right on top of those sweet potatoes. And next thing I'm gonna do is just go ahead and chop up. And there's really no rhyme or reason because everything is gonna be dumped right into this crock pot here. And mostly everything that I'm cutting, I wanna cut in pretty big chunks. So the zucchini tends to cook fast, especially depending on what size you cut them in. I'm just gonna make some pretty thick chunks. Or if you want to, you can add them maybe 2 hours until the cook time is complete. And one thing I love doing is getting in the kitchen and chopping. We're gonna add our zucchini. There's no perfection in the kitchen. Whatever you want in your chili, add it. Next thing up is our squash, our yellow squash. You can add eggplant, trying to think what else you can add. Tonight I'm using black beans, but you can add pintos, you can add lentils. This is a really good option. I've done that before and they turned out very, very good. And cut these bad boys in half. It's up to you. It's your squash. I'm about to say it's your squash. It is your squash. Technically, you can do what you want. And this stew is filled with antioxidants. It's got the fiber and the sweet potatoes for the gut health. Squash, zucchini, tomatoes, sweet potato, all in. Next thing up is our bell pepper. Now, bell pepper, like I said, I like everything chunky in my stew, in my soups, my chili. I'm just gonna put these guys. I'm gonna do a full bell pepper. I don't know, for me, cooking has always been like therapeutic, always been therapeutic. If I want to just calm my nerves and just zone out for a second, I'll go cook. So what I'm doing now is I'm just cutting those pieces, those quadrants that I cut from before. I'm just going to cut those in like little squares, nothing major. And you can do this on low cook setting for 6 to 8 hours, and at that lag close to the end is when you want to add your black beans, because you don't want them mushy, and add your fresh basil so it can keep its flavor. I have a turkey chili recipe in my After the Nest, the culinary book, which is so good also. One of my favorites. Every time I make it for a gathering, I usually have to make sure I get a bowl, or hope I get a bowl by the time it is, because that's how fast it goes. My pot is just looking so beautiful right now, you guys. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut off some coarse big pieces of onion as well. And I probably just do half. Take that outer part off because it might be a little tough. Nothing too fancy. I just drop those in there. Some pieces I'll just keep together. I've never been a big professional onion cutter, so like I said, you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be cute. But I think I have enough onion. If you want more, you can always, of course, cut you more onion in there. I think I'm just gonna add a little bit more onion to the mix. I want a lot of flavor in my stew, so I'm adding some red onion. So next thing is my garlic. So I have 3 cloves here. I'm just gonna give these a mash. Take that skin off. Or you can just drop you a whole garlic clove in there if you just want that garlic flavor, and then mix it right up. As a matter of fact, I may do that. Let's cut those stems off. Bottom. This is the bigger one, so I'm just gonna cut this one in slices. And there's nothing like enough for me, because you know I love garlic. I really truly love garlic. And of course, we're gonna have to come back after this is done. After it, I'm gonna cook this for 6 to 8 hours, probably 7 hours. Add my last ingredients in at the end and plate it up. Lay those beets over those eats. And speaking of beets, I call this beet Ember. And like the chili, it evokes warmth, and it's a simmer of these deep, rich melodies and harmonies. It has a violin, it has a piano, it has a taiko drum.
Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to
That's Ember. So loving, so warm, so inviting. Like this jelly. So we got the last of our ingredients. We're gonna add our oregano in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the rest of my dry ingredients, and then I'm gonna top it off with my 2 cups of my vegetable broth that I have over here. So just gonna sprinkle that all over there. Get all that in there. And then I'm gonna add our salt. And of course, we're gonna add more as we need it. Close to the end, got our black pepper. Add that atop of there. And we have our vegetable broth. Just gonna pour it right on top. And what I like about, sometimes you really don't need a broth or water. You just let the vegetables do their thing. But in this case, if you don't want to have a lot of attention to it, just make sure you add a sufficient amount of fluid when your crock pot starts to heat up and really get going. So the next thing I'm going to do is add my beautiful bay leaves. I'm going to give this a stir first. Everything is coming together. And then I'm going to plop in my bay leaves. And for now, I'm just gonna add, this is Splenda. I'm just gonna add a couple shakes to it, and similar to the salt, add the sweetener if I need any more in there when it starts to cook. Just do a toss at the top. Once again, I'm gonna get that down in there. Let this cook for 7 hours, 6 to 8 hours. At that last hour, come back in and add our black beans. These are rinsed and drained. Add those in. Of course, you don't have to drain yours if you don't want to, but I like the liquids that I have in here now instead of like the liquid from the black beans. And I'm gonna add my basil in so it can continue to get that pop in the flavor. That's pretty much it. So technically I would say ready to plate, let's plate, but we're gonna plate it when we finish this stew. I'll say ready to stew. I'll just say ready to plate.
Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some.
Welcome back. Our slow cooker sweet potato black bean chili is ready. 6 hours later, it smells great. It looks fresh. You see all the sweet potatoes and the tomato and the black beans that I added at the end, and the bell peppers, and I went ahead and added some fresh basil to it with a dollop of Greek yogurt. You don't have to add Greek yogurt just to keep it vegan, but you can add some other things, some other toppings of your choosing. But this right here is so beautiful and it's got all the colors in it. So we're just gonna give this a mix, and I made sure to remove the bay leaf before I played it. So just gonna give this a mix around. Been waiting for this. It's hearty, it's warm, it's inviting, it's full of fiber. That is very delightful, very hearty. See, I'm gonna give another sweet potato. And with chili, you can add and season as you go along. I need just a little bit of salt. I didn't want to over season it as I was cooking. Guys, this is so fresh. Squash and zucchini. Try this out, give this recipe a chance, especially during the colder months when you just want something filling and warm and comforting and still not too heavy or unhealthy. You know, you just want to make sure you get your nourishment and still have that indulgent feel, if you know what I mean. Energy boosting, immunity, everything that you can imagine in a chili. I'm just gonna take my slow cooker sweet potato black bean chili and go. Enjoy some beats.
Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna take some time to learn to treat you right. Gonna